Yes, I am ready, and the bar is really high after such speeches of Tomasz and Bojan, and the pace is also high. But I will also refer to a pace. I will also refer to some speed limits and speed bumps. So just please stay focused. Okay, so let me start with two disclaimers, because when you are speaking about Polish judiciary, when you are speaking about Poland, you need to start with a disclaimer that your presentation, your comment, your intervention, your whatever is up to date till only the moment that you were preparing it. So I started my presentation on Monday probably, and then yesterday, that was the last moment that I was preparing the last slides. So yeah, so that's disclaimer number one. So the presentation is up to date for 19th October and 6 o'clock. And the second disclaimer. So yeah, thank you for the introduction, Madalina. So I'm no longer a judge. I resigned in the year 2019. It was just enough for me to be the judge in Poland, and I joined the NGO sector. I'm the member of the legal think tank. So because I'm a member of the legal think tank and not a scientist, I don't feel myself and I don't see myself as a scientist yet, although I'm working at the universities. So I will rather share with you some my impressions, some my reflections, and I would try to speak about kind of the diagnosis about the judiciary, about the judges especially, and I will try to share some also human stories, also with above mentioned Judge Tuleya, but not only him. Okay, so first of all, now let's start with some behind the scenes ideas when we were starting with Mohor to speak, and we were discussing also my topic. So yeah, so the language, and it's also something that Tomasz started with. So it's like building the narrative, or maybe adapt the language, because yeah, we started with the idea. Well, first of all, what's happening now? Because what's happening now in Europe, whether it's authoritarian takeover or it's backsliding democracy, as also Professor Sadurski said and wrote also. So what is now? What is happening now? So that's the first question. I will leave it open. And the second question is how we will call this judicial activities, and the judicial activities beyond the courtroom, but not only. So the activities beyond the courtroom, it's also what Tomasz mentioned. So the civil society, or this trying to build or establish the legal complex, which is really a very young idea in Poland or in our part of Europe. So what are we exactly doing? And now we are starting with this big word, starting with R, whether it's resistance. Well, being Polish, it's very hard to use the word resistance just now, or after 6 years of, I don't know, rebellion of judges, or whether is it ordinary civic courage, because, or maybe we are just, or the judges. No, I'm no longer a judge, but maybe the judges, are they performing just the judicial duties? Maybe they are exactly the legal professionals, like Tomasz mentioned, not the graduates of law, but the legal professionals. Or maybe they are just staying in integrity. And just let me mention that the average age of the Polish judge is 43, 45 years. So his life experience is 31 or 32 years now, living in a free country after the free election, living in democratic country. But probably we as judges, we were also taught by the judges appointed during the communist times, by the judges that have some DNA also, like this formal or this context or this application of law that is only limited to the law itself, not to the values, not to the rule of law as it is. And you can see also on my slide just a quotation from David Bowie's song. So we can be heroes just for one day. So that's what David Bowie wrote, and I will go back also. I won't sing, I promise you. Okay. So now, I was thinking, because we are in Slovenia, remotely, but we are. So what do we have in common? We have this, guys, the ski jumping, we have this big hills. So there's the idea, and it was just made to catch your attention. But we have something that we don't have in common. And you probably can guess, it was a long story about the pace. So yeah, so that's the guy, Primoz Roglic. I think he's a famous guy from Slovenia. He's a cyclist. And in our think tank, we were just trying to compare, because that's the way of the narrative. That's also what should be mentioned. And I think what it's mentioned all the time, that we really need to shift the paradigm also about this narrative about the law, narrative about the judges, narrative about the rule of law. It's also something extremely important when you want to go further, when you want to go public, when you want to educate. I think you would rather speak about cyclists, you would rather speak about ski jumping, and probably you will rather avoid speaking about rule of law or legal complex, at least at the beginning. So yeah. So now imagine that the judiciary and that the Polish judiciary is like the peloton during really very big, very long race, like this Tour de France or Giro d'Italia or just the Vuelta a España. So, and that's the peloton. So if you probably know, as you are people that from the country that has Roglic, Grega Bole, Pogačar, and Mohoric. So probably you know that you have the leaders. You have these guys that are really fast, that they will probably will fight for a winning of the stage, or they will just escape from the peloton. But the most of the peloton, the most of the judiciary is riding rather calmly, and they are controlling the pace, and they are trying to not to lose the eye contact with the fast guys. And of course, as long as they do not lose the sight, they can always catch them. And they can also continue together. They can have a look. They can probably knew what will happen to these fast guys, or they can stay in their comfort zone, because being in the peloton is the comfort zone. And at the end, you have the marauders. So you have the people that probably will be catched by the bus or by the coach. End of the race. And now it's just already referring to Professor Bugarič words. I'm really sorry to disappoint you, but the leaders are few. The leaders in Polish judiciary, you already know the name of the Judge Tuleja. You have Judge Olimpia Barańska-Małuszek. You have Judge Paweł Juszczyszyn. You have Judge Beata Morawiec. You have three judges of the Supreme Court: Włodzimierz Wróbel, Andrzej Stępka, Marek Pietruszyński, Judge of Regional Court in Katowice, Krystian Markiewicz, who is the leader of the Association of Polish Judges Justitia, Judge of District Court in Poznań, Monika Frąckowiak. So that's the group of leaders. One of them will probably win the whole race. One of them will have the gold medal. And maybe there are also a few another judges, but the rest stays in the peloton. And now just two stories about the people, the human stories. So that's the story of Beata Morawiec. She was the president of the court in Krakow. She was also the member of the NCJ, so National Council of Judiciary, in the former composition. And there was something, well, the Minister of Justice, Mr. Zbigniew Ziobro, also he's the head of the reforms, he's the idea maker or the CEO of the judicial reforms in Poland. He has a problem with the court in Krakow, with this regional court in Krakow. So and he called once that there's an organized crime group of judges, of course, and they are acting in the Krakow court. So what happened? Well, the Beata Morawiec and the group of judges, they also went to the court. They sued the Minister of Justice, and they won the case. But then it happened that something is wrong with Beata Morawiec, and there's a guy who's a witness. And then look what happened in Polish national broadcasting, in Polish propaganda, in Polish television. So they revealed also the testimony, and they showed it in the main information program. So look what can happen to a judge that is brave enough, that is trying to go to the court with the Ministry of Justice. So they started also not only the disciplinary procedure, but they started also the criminal procedure, and they wanted to waive the immunity of Beata Morawiec. And during the 2 or 3 days before the hearing at the disciplinary chamber. Remember, the disciplinary chamber already suspended by the court in Luxembourg. So, and they were preparing all the background, they were preparing the case, and they were showing the people by their propaganda. So the extract from the witness testimony that, yeah, the guy was afraid, and he said that Beata Morawiec's assistance consisted in obtaining for him a good conclusion to the case, so mitigated sentence and all of this. So they were revealing the evidence from the criminal procedure. So that also can happen. And then we have another judge, Monika Frąckowiak. So she's a judge in the court of Poznań, in the district court in Poznań. She's also critical to reforms. She's critical to the ruling party, and she went also to two TV shows that I watched. One was kind of the debate with the, let's say, the right-wing journalists, but it was rather okay. And during this show, Monika said, well, the deputy minister of justice and the former judge, he's a disgusting person. He's a disgusting person. He's a shame to the whole judiciary. Okay. And then that was the kind of the open debate in Polish public television with people, with the voices from everyone. And you can also call the TV studio, or you can text them and something. And then Monika told me that then the lights went off after the end of this program. And one of the persons taking part in the discussion went to her and said, you will be hanged. You will be hanged. And then just after 2 or 3 months, out of the sudden, the disciplinary commissioner started the procedures against her, and they started to examine the records of her 4 years of performing her judicial duty. And what happened more, and what was then, we have kind of the smear campaign or the defamation campaign against judges on Twitter. There was the special account that was linked to also the judges that went to the Ministry of Justice. And they were also posting really terrible stuff about her. They were posting private data. So you can see, and it was also called like the Justice Watch. So maybe like a NGO or just someone watching her. So you have the faces of treason. You have the faces of treason who went to the Luxembourg to denounce Poland. From the left, there's the Judge Starosta, Judge Frąckowiak, Krystian Markiewicz, and Judge Tomasz Błaszkiewicz. Or here you have the story about the inconspicuous mother of a baby daughter. They were building the brand, and she's Justitia secret envoy to Timmermans. She was the one who traveled to Denmark on sick leave, and now she plays the martyr. But all indications are that she will end up with the sentence for treason. So, and that it also goes viral, and you can see the likes, you can see the follows of this tweet, and it's really dangerous. So when you are brave enough just to be the member of this group of escapees, you will face such a problems that I'm showing you. And of course, what are the leaders doing? Because yeah, they are not only on social media. So they are performing this international presence, because yeah, so we have the evidence, because everyone heard about Judge Tuleya, everyone in our, let's say, judicial and legal environment. And they are performing their cases that's asking for the preliminary ruling and then bringing the individual cases before the European courts. They are, as Tomasz mentioned already, and also Professor Bugarič, they were questioning the status of the new National Council of Judiciary Judges with all legal measures. And one of this is just they are refusing to adjudicate in panels composed with the judges that are appointed by the new National Council of the Judiciary. So that's the role of the leaders. And what's going on in the peloton? So you can also see the graph made by Justitia and the special date. So the 18th of every month, that's the day when Judge Tuleya was suspended. And needless to say that the term of his suspension is now 600 32 days. So he's not going back to the courtroom since almost 2 years. So that's the Judge Tuleya case. And after this ruling of the, let's say, disciplinary chamber on 18th of March, there's the, well, kind of the, maybe not a strike, but the day of the solidarity with the judges that are oppressed. So what is the peloton doing? So what are these ordinary judges doing? So they can also be the members of the judicial associations. Out of 10, more or less 10,000 judges in Poland, we have 3,600 judges in association Justitia. So it's quite a big association, and 300 judges in Temis. So almost 40% of Polish judges are the members of the associations. And also there's the idea of signing the positions, because there's the position of the assembly of judges of the district court or something. So the judges are signing it. They are signing it still. And yes, they are showing their support to judges that are already oppressed. So that's my comment only. So it's passive, it's reactive, but it's important. It's important, and it shows also the way that that the judges in the peloton can perform, can do. Here is the big billboard. So yeah, we demand the reinstatement of independent judges. It was even the advertising campaign, so you can see it sometimes posted on the big walls or somewhere. So it was not only viral, but it was real. So it happened, and people were sometimes going through the highway, and they were seeing the big billboards about judges. So it shows also the support of the society, because it's another way, another probably solution, or another tip to build this legal complex that was already mentioned. And now about the marauders. So these are the guys that went to the Ministry of Justice. These are the guys that were the members of National Council of Judiciary. They were also signing the letters of support for the candidates before they were elected by the political forces, especially by the ruling party. So these are the marauders. And they are getting appointed, they are getting promoted. They go to the Supreme Court, they go to disciplinary chamber, they go to the newly created chamber of Supreme Court, or they go to Court of Appeal, or they go to the regional courts out of district courts. And they also became a court presidents, because they get appointed. So, and they are also sometimes doing, it's in football, it's called scouting. So they are, calling other judges saying, well, you can be the president, or you can advance to Supreme Court, for instance, or at least to the Court of Appeal. So they are really strong. They have something. They have, something that is something that can be valuable for judges. And now just few remarks. What can happen now? So the bikers are tired. Some of them are extremely tired. It's really hard sometimes to be in the race and to have the space. And leaders, sorry, the leaders can be unstoppable, and also the peloton can lose the contact with the leaders. And still the marauders can influence the peloton. And look at this data at the last line. So out of this 9,600 Polish judges, already 1,600 is already appointed by the new National Council of Judiciary. So they are, let's say, they are a little bit poisoned, or totally poisoned, by the participation of this National Council of Judiciary, participation in their promotion. So yeah, so I will now leave some questions open. So that's the question for our Slovenian colleagues. So are you Roglic, Pogačar, or the guy who will probably warm up in a coach? So that's the first question. I will leave it open. And now just very short remarks. So that's the 10th of October 2021, because as you know, everything is up to date. So it was the Sunday of the October 10th. And the opposition leader, the guy named Donald Tusk, so he was the former prime minister of Poland and the leader of the civic platforms of the biggest opposition party, After the ruling of the Constitutional Tribunal, also called that it's very close to Polexit stuff, he just told that, okay, everyone goes to the street. Everyone goes to the street to defend the EU, to defend our membership in the European Union. And what was really, again, that's a question. There's also the question about the freedom of expression, about the freedom of demonstrating, of manifesting the ideas. And he got the support also from Justitia, because Justitia joined his appeal that everyone needs to be on the street, everyone needs to defend our membership in EU. And that's also the place that I leave with a question mark, because is it okay for the Association of Judges to answer, first of all, to answer, let's say, the call or the appeal of the party, so rather politic, or whether it's kind of the rally or kind of the expressing the idea of staying with the legal complex, or staying inside the European Union, or just enjoying the membership in the European Union. So that's the question. I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer whether the Association of Judges should join expressly such a rally, such a demonstration. I did. So that's me during the demonstration, because I'm no longer a judge, and I don't have a problem. So yeah, and you can see the rest of the David Bowie song. So, and the shame was on the other side. Oh, we can beat them forever and ever. We could be heroes just for one day. So thank you. Yeah, that's all.